Oh my goodness. Do you know I forgot to welcome, welcome. Hello, one and all. Do you know I forgot to go live? Oh my goodness. Do you know I forgot to I am so sorry. I was literally sitting here talking up a storm, greeting everybody, and I finally looked in the corner and realized that I was not live. Um Oh my goodness. That was the longest. You know, I have broken my own record for sitting here talking to myself. It felt weird. And you guys missed it because I dropped an expletive, which is something that I have been very disciplined about. You guys have never heard me, drop the S word or the F bomb or anything like that. Well, that's what you missed was the potty mouth. And I can guarantee you guys are never going to get a chance to enjoy expletives flying out of my mouth. But oh, what you just missed, uh, it was epic. It was epic. I mean, I was using expletives like Olivier quotes Hamlet. That's what I was just doing. So you missed that. Maybe next time. Anyway, greetings, one and all. I do apologize that I'm late. I literally was sitting here talking and talking, and then I asked for a thumbs up. Can anybody hear me? Well, what was confusing is that the avatar, my little photo up there, is actually strobing with my voice, but nothing was coming out because I wasn't actually live. So, yeah, I was not sleeping, but situations like this, I kind of wish I would have stayed in bed, but nope, I'm here. I do apologize again. That was fun, interesting, but now we got work to do, don't we? Because we got stuff to talk about. So, my biggest thing was trying to get my slide to open, which as usual, I'm working on that up until the last minute. So, anyway, since I'm finally here, that's enough of all that Who Shot John. Happy Women's History Day. Happy Women's History Day. And as I mentioned before, and none of you all heard, um, to the ladies that are listening to Royal Sussex right now, happy Women's Day. I had to tell you all something. I don't know if I ever told you this statistic before, but 90% of the people listening to Royal Sussex right now, and that would be everyone within the sound of my voice, 90% of you all are women who make up what, 51, 52% of the world population. And if I could quote one of the stranger people from history that is not always so popular, but I believe it was Margaret Thatcher who said, if you want something said, get a man. If you want something done, get a woman. Or should I say it was actually ask a man or ask a woman. But yeah, that's what Margaret Thatcher said. And even though she was the most polarizing figure that I could think of in British history, in terms of, I guess, prime ministers, believe it or not, I remember when Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan were best of friends, but that was a quote. And I love that quote. If you need something said, ask a man. If you need something done, ask a woman. Okay, so with that, greetings Lydia and Church Nellie, Dorothy Ross, H. Knight, Joyce Boat, Denise Jones, etc., etc. I am not going to go through those again because I did that already. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'd suggest that you all send me to a spa. Y'all need to send me to a spa. Maybe some lava rocks on my back, a pedicure, a facial scrub, massage, deep tissue massage. I should be okay. It was the S. It was the S. And I was like, oh my goodness, they heard me use that language. And I have been very disciplined about that. But when I realized the error of my ways, I had to try to pull it back, only to realize I wasn't live in the first place. So that made it easy. Okay, fancy, fancy, welcome. As you can see here, it says to celebrate Women's History Month, the Royals are offering grants to 4 leading organizations working to advance gender equality. This was in Harper's Bazaar. And the other photo on the right, that's just like one of my favorite photos ever. So Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan are showing their support this Women's History Month. Okay, very small print. Okay, and there you have it. This, the very top paragraph comes from the heading of the story in the Archewell, on the Archewell page. And then there to the right, you can see from right to left the organizations that they are planning to support, or well, that they have pledged to support, like the Center on Poverty and Inequality, Georgetown University Law, National Women's Law Center, the 19th, and of course, everybody's favorite, SmartWorks. Yes, the Sussexes are going to support those 4 organizations um, for Women's History Month. They have made pledges that have kind of set Twitter on fire. If you guys are not on Twitter, don't worry about it. But I just wanted you to know that that is what's happening. Everybody is celebrating the fact that the Sussexes have started off this month with a bang. Not a boom or a pow, but with a bang. And oh boy, I'm going to get to a little messy later. But there we are. SmartWorks, National Women's Law Center, and of course, the Center for Poverty and Inequality, and the 19th. It's hard to talk through my smile, but it's not that I'm excited about this because I'm trying to sock it to anybody else over in Narnia, but it's just another way of saying that you all are way out of your league. You're trying to big up some mediocre people when the truth is the only royals that matter at this point, the only royals that matter are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. There's a reason why they are the most popular royal couple in the world right now. And not only that, let's not limit it to being the most popular royals in the world right now. They are the most popular couple in the world. It is the ultimate double act. And that's just all to it. So I don't want to boast or be prideful and, I don't want to carry on like that. I'm just saying that the Sussexes are winning. That wasn't too much, was it? Okay. So you have those, like right here, on the first day of Women's History Month. We're pleased to announce that Archewell Foundation will be supporting SmartWorks with a grant to help enable an important research project on female unemployment in the UK. Find out more on the Archewell website. Hello, hello. Find out on the Archewell website, which of course I recommend that everybody go to the Archewell website. Never underestimate how important the traffic on the Archewell website is to the Archewell Foundation. And if you're not registered to the Archewell Foundation, what are you waiting for? Since 2019, the Duchess of Sussex has been a patron of SmartWorks, a UK charity that exists to give women the confidence they need to reach their full potential, secure employment, and change the trajectory of their lives. Archewell Foundation supports support will enable the creation of the SmartWorks Female Unemployment Index, which will be an extremely robust study looking at the unemployment issue that affect women across the UK, with the aim of creating an annual benchmark against which progress and change can be tracked. So that is what they have on the SmartWorks page for actually on the Archewell page in reference to the SmartWorks. And so we remember when the Duchess of Sussex was at this particular event because that is when they had the clothing line, and the women that you see in the photo are actually wearing the career ready pieces that they could accessorize in ever so tasteful manner so that they can go out and secure a job without having to look for hand me downs and going to the thrift stores. And one of my favorite stories about the Duchess of Sussex was that she said she had donated some of her clothes to a women's shelter, and she was trying to help this young lady get dressed. And she told her, she said, well, why don't you accessorize this outfit with this belt or bag or whatever it was? And the girl was like, oh, no, I don't like that. Only to find out that the article of clothing that the Duchess was speaking of was actually an accessory that once belonged to her. Well, of course, this young lady didn't know that, and Meghan didn't tell her otherwise. But because Meghan doesn't take herself so serious, she actually laughed about it because she thought that it was absolutely hilarious that she's trying to help this young lady um, get on a career path with the proper clothing for an interview. And when she tries to gift this young lady something that she donated herself, the lady just kind of turned up her nose and was like, ooh. And it's stories like that, which is why we love the Duchess of Sussex. Amen. So I see everybody greeting one another, which is absolutely awesome. I see everybody's in a good mood today. Hello, Baron and Squatty family at my family doctor, my 6-month check. Have a blessed day, everyone. Much love. Jacqueline Squash. Thank you for sharing that with Jacqueline, and thank you for taking us on your appointment with you. That makes me feel good that we're keeping you company. Let me see. Where are those being sold? Okay, Joan Commonwealth at Church Nelly. I'm not sure exactly what you all are selling to each other, and I'm not sure that I can be a party to this because I have to report to my probation officer, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I can't go back, okay? I'm gonna leave that alone. Um, oh, you are singing. I'm singing a song myself. Like Gladys Knight say, I feel a song in my heart. And I do. I have a song in my heart right now because I am happy about this news in reference to the Sussexes. This is a wonderful way to start off the month of March. And they say March comes in like a lion. I am going to look forward to that. As a matter of fact, is the Duchess of Sussex a Leo? I think she's a Leo, right? They say March comes in like a lion. It comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. Okay, exclusive. Meghan Markle's Archewell Foundation announces incredible news to start the Women's History Month. The Duchess of Sussex has been patron of SmartWorks since 2019. And if you guys remember this occasion when the Duchess of Sussex was visiting SmartWorks, do you remember how excited she was to be helpful? That she ran through that place like a little kid? I thought that was absolutely adorable. So you see, the sun is shining today, and no trolls or haters are going to bother me because this is another fantastic day for the Sussexes. And I mean, literally, I remember the excitement that she had when she was visiting this place. She comes running through there. She's like, "Oh, let me show you this, and let me show you that." I mean, she's all over the place. I mean, that unexpected burst of energy, which we can all use today, given how weird the world is. Let's see. The Duchess of Sussex is a woman, very work. Let me see. Is a woman very working, hardworking, I'm sure, and very compassionate, compulsive. Okay. All right. No problem with that. Let's see. Audrey Teschner. I remember that day, Baron. Saw the video, pure love and compassion. Oh, yeah. You know what? I got to go and try to find that video. I wish I could share it right now, but again, I cannot afford to get in trouble with YouTube. So I won't be sharing stuff like that for a while. You are not going to be bothered by the trolls because you have them blocked. Yeah, Anna Espinoza, I swear I have blocked almost 400 or 500 trolls. Some of them have gone through the trouble to create new accounts, but that's okay. We'll block them again. Let me see. Duchess Meghan loves to give. The Queen Doria taught her is a joy in giving. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am in such a good mood today. The corners of my mouth is touching my ears. Absolutely. Okay. So, and you see here, I am going to have to bring up that someplace else so I can see that incredibly small print. The print that you see there is not very baby boomer friendly. So I am going to have to do this so I can see it. Oh, that's still not large enough, but let me try. It's the lower left-hand corner says the Smart Set has built a community of retailers, designers, and customers inspired by the vision of our royal patron who are united in a mission to help each other achieve her best. Thanks to their support, every woman who walks through our door knows that another woman cares about her and has invested in her future. Now, if you don't recall, I'll refresh your tea. Let me refresh your tea for just a second. Can I do that? I'm going to refresh your tea. Um, okay, have a sip, everybody. I'll do the same. Okay. All right, that was a bottle of water. Okay, refresh your tea, everyone. Now, here we go. When you purchased an item from one of these sponsoring retailers, I believe that a similar item was made available at the SmartWorks for women who were trying to find clothing for their career. I think that's the way that worked. So, anyway, if you bought a particular item from a retailer, then a similar item was gifted to a woman who was in pursuit of a career or a job or whatever. So, first release of SmartWorks Set Tote sold out online, with a second release coming shortly. A rep said in a statement that was 12 September 2019. So if you guys remember, that stuff sold out fast. And the highly coveted tote bag, that very simple, elegant tote bag, was like um it sold like hotcakes, as they say. It was the highly coveted SmartWorks tote bag, and I believe was it Nisha Nunu, the Duchess's good friend, designed the button-down top there. So I remember that. Fun times. Very, very happy and satisfying. Although at the time, the Duchess of Sussex was still in Narnia, and her efforts were not fully appreciated. But we're not looking back; we are looking forward. We are looking forward. So let's not even dwell on that part of things because that has come and gone. The Duchess of Sussex is rising. Also, I want to say that someone sent me a PayPal like about 20 minutes ago. I think the initials SJ. Thank you, SJ. I guess you were trying to wake me up. I hear you. So, SJ, I won't say the name because it may be something different on the thing here. So, but yeah, thank you for that. And also, earlier today, I received the Cash App. Thank you for that. Wanted to acknowledge that because sometimes people are not sure that it has actually reached the target, but it has. So, thank you for the Cash App earlier today. And the initials, let me see. ID was the initials. I as in I and D as in D. I almost said it. Okay, so thank you for that. Many, many thanks to both of you all. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's cool. Sometimes when I'm working, my phone lights up and I just happen to catch it. So when I do, oh my goodness, just when I was in a good mood. Hello, Ivy here. Just to help elevate my mood, Ivy is here. Hello, Ivy here. Everyone, Ivy's here. Thank goodness for that. I love that. See, everything is going my way today. I'm so happy. Okay, so there you have it. Oh, actually, I was going to get to that later because that was some shade about the weekend. So until that time, let me go over a couple of things with the smart works, okay? And then we'll get into the shadiness and then we'll get into a little messy. And so I'm going to go through these logos that I have shared here. So we've already discussed SmartWorks. The other ones that you need to know about is the 19th. Archewell Foundation believes that trusted and community based news outlets play a vital part of improving everyone's experience and understanding online. The 19th is a groundbreaking independent nonprofit newsroom that reports on gender, politics, and policy. Support from Archewell has allowed the 19th to expand its coverage of BIPOC, and of course the LGBTQ plus communities and advance generous love. I'm sorry, generous leave, generous love, advanced generous love. Lord have mercy. Am I saying too much about myself? Let me do that again. Um, the LGBT plus community and advanced generous leave and caregiving policies inside the organization. Advanced generous love. Lord have mercy. Um, I guess everything that you've already suspected and been some, right? So, Baron, I've been trying to get this PayPal thing working for a while. Just got it done. Oh, thank you so much. Well, since you've said it, that was SJ that sent me a PayPal. Thank you so much. I wasn't sure if you used the same name here, but thank you. Uh, and happy Women's History Month to you. And thank you for saying that because I was getting the foot and mouth disease trying to get past my last reading here. So yes, Crystal J, you know that I'm kind of weird. You know that. Well, I hope my enthusiasm is contagious because we have been through a lot in the past couple weeks, ups and downs and everything. So, having a chance to see some good news for a change means everything. Oh, let me see. Yes, I'm just drinking tea. I'm just drinking tea. Sheila Watson, you know how I am when I get in a good mood. It's as though I'm high as a Georgia pine. So, yes, I'm in a very good mood today. More good news. Elmer Fudd of Monaco is trying to look human by blocking funds to the Russians. Yes, I know who Elmer Fudd of Monaco is. And before we go any further, let me see if I have an opportunity to dig out Elmer Fudd because that's like one of my favorite things is to share that image of I am so bad. I am so bad with the memes and stuff, but it's just so much fun to me. And it's like all I can do to keep from going cuckoo. Okay, so Elmer Fudd of Monaco. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love some good new material. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know him as Prince Albert of Monaco. And of course, me having as much respect and deference for royals, and especially slimy, pudgy princes that seem to always find themselves in the weirdest predicaments, right? So when I saw this photo of Elmer Fudd of Monaco, I said, yes, Prince Albert does remind me of this guy. He just, I mean, I don't know. I swear, I swear you never see them in the same room at the same time. It's either one or the other, but you never see them together. Have you noticed that? Is it just me? When was the last time you've seen Elmer Fudd and Prince Albert of Monaco in the same room? It doesn't happen. That's because they are the same person. Okay? Don't tell me that this is some kind of conspiracy or something like that. Elmer Fudd, ladies and gentlemen, if we can know the identity of Spider Man, we can know the identity of Batman, then I think it's high time, as I bang on my desk, that we know the true identity of Elmer Fudd. It is Albert of Monaco. There. And I don't care what the consequences are. The public the public has a right to know. How dare he try to keep that from us? Okay, so thank you for that. Um, I'm here to inform and sometimes even entertain, but I'm here mostly to inform. So the secret is out. I'm sure that he'll feel better now that everybody knows that he's actually Elmer Flippin' Fudd. Okay, back to our um faves. Okay, all right. So that is the 19th. Let me see. I've already done Smart Works. Okay, the 19th. Oh, the National Women's Law Center. We have to do that one. So the National Women's Law Center, the NWLC, has been fighting for gender justice in the United States for the past 50 years. Archewell is proud to support the center and is pioneering work to ensure that women and girls, especially women of color, LGBTQ people, and women and families with low incomes, can live, learn, and work with safety, dignity, and equality. In particular, the center has been at the forefront of advocacy for the devastating workforce pushout that women have experienced during the pandemic. Archewell and the NWLC will be working together to examine the system that brought us to this breaking point and explore data and trends that will bring about solutions to more sustainably future economic justice for women. Okay, so that is the National Women's Law Center. That's another place where the Sussexes have decided to put forth resources to help make a difference. And that's why we applaud them. Okay, so we got one more. I think we have one more. Oh, yeah. There it is. So in your lower left, there is the Center on Poverty and Inequality, Georgetown University Law. Under the leadership of Rebecca Epstein, the Center on Poverty and Inequality Initiative on Gender Justice and Opportunity develops innovative policy solution and conducts groundbreaking research to help schools, hospitals, the juvenile justice system, and other public systems better support marginalized girls. Archewell support is allowing the initiative to deepen and expand its work recognizing and cultivating Black girls' leadership, reducing discriminatory school discipline, and strengthening trauma informed practices so that girls can heal and thrive. Because, as the Duchess of Sussex said, it's not just important that you survive, it's also important that you are thriving. Yeah, so notice there's that connection there. It is very important that we thrive. Okay, so having gotten through those places that the Sussexes have decided to celebrate women for Women's History Month, please share your thoughts if you would like to. I'm going to go back and see if I missed anything. Are you guys still reeling for the revelation that I have explained to you that Elmer Fudd and Albert is the same person? I know it's shocking. I know that it is jaw-dropping information, but please try to compose yourself. This is not the end of the world. Let me see. Faith, we and others know that they are lying on Meghan. Only the trolls believe it. Duchess has shown the world who she is. The idea that anybody is lying on the Sussexes, Sussex, let me try that again. Sussexes. Sometimes, sometimes I can't get that out. Elmer Fudd, you crazy wascally wabbit. You didn't know I could speak, Elmer Fudd, did you? I'm going to get that wascally wabbit. All you have to do is just talk a little bit like Barbara Walters. You know, because in case you guys didn't know it, Swery Sweppert was on the Woo. Swery Sweppert was on the Woo. Okay? All right, so Baron, didn't we have the Elmer Fudd Monaco conversation last? No, we didn't talk about it last week, but we have had this discussion before. Okay, let me scroll in the other direction. I'm losing my place here. Cookies and cream, I am as well, because the Sussexes have been under this attack from the tabloids for quite some time. And of course, the Narnia has had the houses of Windsor on their case. And yes, there was some things on the Twitter today that I'm going to share later. Christopher Bosey has actually chimed in a bit today. The Sussexes are the it factor. They're the Duke and Duchess, Mr. and Mrs. Worldwide. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They are the most relevant couple there is on the planet right now. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to take this away. Why was it said Diana's family had a longer, more impressive background in England than the royal family? Pamela Porter, I can feel that one. The royal family that we know of today were actually mostly of German heritage because the Stuart line kind of died out, and because there were not suitable enough people of the lineage of the Stuarts left to fulfill the obligation of empire, they had to go to Germany to find some distant relatives that were Protestants, right? Because you couldn't have a Catholic on the throne. And then also they had to have, been married down the line. And so back in the day when Germany was a bunch of principalities and dukedoms, Germany didn't actually become a unified state until what, the 1880s or something like that. So all of those German nobles and principalities and such, they married out into all the houses of Europe. So whether it was Russia, and of course Austria is pretty obvious, and the Austrians, of course, the what is it, the Austrian royal family, they were much the same. They married only nobility, and in order to prevent war, they would marry out into other houses of Europe to come up with like a peace treaty or something. So anyway, um, they were running out of stewards, and so they had to send to Germany. And when that happened, right down the line, even through Queen Victoria, you have all of these mostly German people on the English throne. But the Spencer family, they go back all the way to William the Conqueror or something like that. And so the Spencer line is more English than that of the Windsors or the Saxon Coburg and something else that they are. And because of that, they were very sensitive about the fact that they are just way too German for their own good. Oh, that's the one I was looking for. They're way too German for their own good. And so during World War One, it was embarrassing to be fighting against Kaiser Wilhelm if you are actually more German than you are English. And so, in order to solidify support of the English people once and for all, there was a royal patent saying from henceforth everybody shall be known in this family as the Windsors, using the name Windsor because the castle was most synonymous with English royal heritage, etc., etc. So, anyway, that's my loosely based interpretation of it. So, that woman that you see there, that is a very German woman. Prince Charles speaks German fluently, and for a long time, German was. Oh, thank you, Beth Wade. So is Saxon, Coburg, and Gotha. Yeah, that is the third name there. Um, so for a long time, everybody in the household spoke English. I mean, German, and even now, the Queen, who is multilingual. I'm not sure how good her German is, but she is fluent in French. So that's not unusual. But usually, French was the most desired language in every royal court of Europe. Everybody wanted to know French. And indeed, the younger generation, most of them do not know French unless they are from a um, kingdom or principality that borders France. Then, of course, they all speak French. And FYI, the Elmer Fudd, of course, his mother was the American Grace Kelly, but the Grimaldis are very much an Italian family. Um, their first language is French, but the Grimaldis, obviously, they are very Italian family. Okay, so that was my brief history explanation. Baron, I know, but there are others who need to know this for the background. Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't mind sharing. Like, history has always been my favorite topic. So, that's all. I was just shedding a little light on it for those who don't know. But Anyway, it's fun to talk about. Charles and Will are not fluent in French. Yeah, but Charles speaks German. Charles speaks German. He's good with German. And he probably can, because of the cash for honors, I'm sure he speaks some other languages too, mostly cash. Okay. Oh no, I saw that already. Let me go here. Let me see. Since I am from a former colony of France, I speak French. Well, Fatima Ba, you know I speak a little French too. La petite français. Yes, la petite français. Oh, I be getting down, Fatima. You don't want to hear my French. I will embarrass everybody here. So I try not to show out. Um, Bon Nuit and stuff. I try not to show out because it's embarrassing for me because then everybody's like, Baron, we had no idea how prolific your French language is. And I'm just like, I just, it's just a little something I picked up on vacation. Oh, yes, bien dit. Yes. Yes, I did it. Uh-huh. Très bien. Uh-huh. Okay. So okay, so Beth Wade is giving us a little history here. The Normans of the invasion were French, and the England was part of France. French was the court language. Modern English is a mixture of Germanic, Scandinavian, and French. Yes, we speak French every day. I am certain of that. Yeah, there's so many words that have been hijacked. The English language is like a, a a a lot of stolen words. So yeah, that is very true. And sometimes just to make kids feel weird, I'd be like, I didn't know you could speak French, and they're just like, I don't speak French. I'm like, you're doing it every day. Okay, so let me see. We need an interpreter for Baron's French. Myra, you need an interpreter for Baron's English. If you think my French is bad, it's only slightly worse than my English. Okay, okay. Let me see. We have many Sussex Squad members who are at minimum bilingual. We are a very well, knowledgeable, and accomplished group. Amen. Okay, so let's get moving. And let's get to a bit of the messy because I think that everybody is good with this. David Starkey. I know that little punk. A royal historian has all the details of the history of these royal experts. You are right, Baron. The Grimaldi sound Italian are Italian. Well, David Starkey, I watched a few of his documentaries, and he goes, and England has been here for 1,000 years. I love the way he says years. He never says year. He's like 1,000 years. And he's a little racehorse too, right? He's got a little racehorses in him. I've seen him like have these debates and stuff, and he is definitely okay. That's all I'll say. But yeah, to listen to him talk is to hear a very pompous and arrogant gentleman go on and on. But I am very familiar with David Starkey, who has been doing his job for 1,000 years. He makes me sick. Do you hear me? Sick. He makes me sick. But who thought you would bring up that little punk on this show? But yeah, he's okay. I mean, he does his job. But I'm interested in all that stuff. When I look at like right now, my thing is the Gilded Age. I am always excited and interested to see how people lived in other times, and I also love to know what was important to them, to have an understanding of their sensibility. to see how they use different materials, how they gathered their news, where they would buy food, clothing. All of that stuff is very interesting to me. So, from an anthropological standpoint, I'm always curious to know about other cultures and society. Yeah. Okay, yes, part of the fun of being with folks with similar interests. Absolutely, Pamela Porter. Absolutely. I mean, Church Nelly, I have been shady for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. Queen Victoria. I mean, oh, he's just so pretentious. Okay. Oh, I finally, I'm glad I caught that. Let me turn this phone off before somebody interrupts me. Oh, I caught that. It almost started ringing, but I saw it light up. Okay. So the phone is off, and I think I need to move on. So, anything else? Any other questions about SmartWorks or any of that stuff about the Sussexes? Anything? Any thoughts, concerns, feelings? Um, Let me see. Okay, I'm looking at the comments. Whatever you want to share, that's what we're here for. I am hooked on the Gilded Age, Irene G says. Yeah, I love that show, The Gilded Age. Okay. Let me get rid of a couple things. Let me get rid of a couple of things here for the next 1,000 years. Okay. I'm looking at your comments here. The David Stern speaking like an aristocrat. I mean, he's just so pompous. That little, I don't know, what is it about little pudgy Englishmen that just rub me the wrong way? I don't know what it is. Let me see. The Sussexes are doing really well. God has blessed them from the very beginning. Absolutely. And Pamela Porter said, I read that. That's why the practice of dubbing the French and English words, like, for example, to have and to hold. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a great documentary that I watched some time ago. It's called Building English. And if you Google that, well, actually search for it um, on YouTube, because I'm not sure where I've seen it. I probably watched it on PBS, but I know it's on, it may be on YouTube, but it's called Building English. And it explains the history of the English language, how the old English rolled into the very modern English. And let me see. If you're curious about that, it will explain why we speak the way we do and what we take as being a documentary. Okay, I'm checking now to see if it's available. Um, you know what? You'll have to do a deep search, because for now I do not see it. But the name of the documentary, I am reasonably sure it was more than one part. It's called Building English. And I was so fascinated by it. I think I watched like either the one episode or several episodes. Yeah, it's kind of okay. Building English language documentary. Let me try language. See if that comes up. Huh. Let me see. The Adventure of English, Episode 1, Birth of a Language, BBC documentary. Yes. Okay. So it is available. It is called. Let me see. I'm going to give you the title. I'll put the title on the screen, and then if you guys are interested in it at all, then I'll let you search it out. But you'll be amazed at the kind of stuff I find interesting. Okay, there it is right there. I just put it in the chat. The Adventure of English, Episode 1, Birth of the English Language. So, as I recall, there are several episodes, but that documentary will explain to you why we speak the way we do. And of course, if you can figure that out, then please help explain why I speak the way I do, because I'm telling you, I need help. Let me see. That man really is a good historian, but the pretentiousness. Oh, we must be speaking of David Starkey, who has done his pompous arrogance for years. Oh my God. Yeah, he's a great historian, but he gets a little bit too carried away with all that um, what do you call it? Game of Thrones stuff. He gets a little bit too carried away with all the history. I gotta stop. Um, wait, I want to see if I can show you all a picture of him. Now, please tell me this is not pompous personified. Pompous, arrogant, full of himself, speaking in that very erudite tone where he explains how the English Empire has been around for 1,000 years. Claudia Myers, thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. And happy Tuesday to you. I believe they say it's Fat Tuesday. And even though I have been doing this Royal Sussex for only 1 year, I want to thank you for your generous. You're a very generous super sticker. See what I get for making fun of Barbara Walters? You're very generous swooper wicker. Okay, so that's enough for David Starkey. I am going to remove him, her, they, them. I'm going to remove him, her, they, them. And I'm going to move on. I read a lot of English history in Webster Dictionary. Every day has a narrative of famous writers and philosophers, also Americans in the 20s and 30s. Oh, that's very cool, Little Rock. Little Rock, it comes of no surprise to me that you read a lot because you write beautifully. I think I mentioned that. I mean, the little comments here only tell one side of it, but in the comment section, I'm just like, let me get my dictionary out so I can understand what I'm reading here. But I believe you write beautifully. Okay. Baron, I always learn something new from you, and you do so with joy. Oh, thank you, Rory. Laughter and a happy go lucky demeanor. I love it when you're trying so hard to withhold laughter unsuccessfully. Yes, sometimes I can barely contain myself. That's why I always tell people, please never fall up in, I mean, never fall up, never fall in front of me because you may not want to talk to me again. It depends on how your body meets the ground, depends on how I react to it. English is a concoction of many languages. They stole a little here and a little there, as they do with other things. Yes, but let's not get started on the Benin bronzes. They may give them back, and the Elgin marbles, that's another thing. But we're not going to talk about that right now because I don't want to spoil the mood. David Stocky suggested people should not go in about slavery because it's been abolished since 1833. He said slavery is not genocide. Otherwise, there won't be so many of those black Sun Africans or Britons. You know that he has to roll the R. I have heard David Starkey say some of the most polarizing, ignorant things that you could imagine with the aristocratic tone that he uses. It never comes across well. He um, he says what a lot of people are thinking, obviously, because there's a lot of people that think just like David Starkey does, and yeah, so I'm very familiar with his tone about people of color, and in particular black people. He seems to have a certain mindset about them, and he'll go on these talk shows, and it's somewhat entertaining to see how full of himself that he is, and he is quite full of himself. I mean, he's so full now. I mean, he's literally like a human pinata. Just one little pin and he's liable to burst. That's how full he is. But yep, I'm very familiar with that punk. The English arrogance is what gets them in Phil Waters, hot waters, Phil Water. Even their own folks can attest to their pompous behavior all the time. Yeah. Um, it's people that have gone to the Cambridges and the Oxfords and stuff. Um, the aristocrats and the wannabe aristocrats, they are a tough lot to deal with because they feel as though they are completely enlightened and have the answers to everything in the world. And sometimes, as an American, I feel looked down upon. Um, because it's just like everything seems to gravitate from the empire out, so to speak. And yeah, so David Starkey is a prime example of that. Pamela Porter, I didn't hear that direct quote from David Starkey myself, but I've heard him speak about contemporary culture. The one that really sticks out for me is when David Starkey said that instead of I guess the population trying to reach up to, or should I say, reflect the aristocracy, that nowadays culture seems to evolve from the bottom up instead of from the top down. And in other words, he kind of seems very much sympathetic with the way things used to be, where there was all this deference and such. So I really can't speak to what's in the man's heart because I don't know him, but I've seen him at times say things that felt very uncomfortable in that moment. Hello, Mary H. These poor aristocrats are some most irritating people in the world. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There's a lot of things that they seem to not get, but you can't tell them that. Okay. Try to rewrite history. You can never change what has been done to us. Yeah. One of the things that I love about Tisky Sour and well, anyway, that channel that I mentioned before is that sometimes they really take Winston Churchill to task. And by the time I actually went to Blenheim Castle, no, Blenheim Palace, when I went to Blenheim Palace, by the time I got there, when they tried to show us the room where Winston Churchill was born, at that point, I just wasn't interested in seeing it. I was like, oh, this is a really interesting bit of architecture, but anything to do with Winston Churchill, I avoided that because it seems as though he's not the hero that he has been portrayed to be all these years. And it's rather disturbing once you learn his true history. But like for instance, post World War II, Winston Churchill was trying to hold on to the empire, and Franklin Roosevelt essentially told him there'll be none of that. And of course, things began to collapse because Churchill kind of wanted the United States to help hang on to the empire, and and Franklin Roosevelt essentially said, "We'll help you, but we're not going to help you um, maintain world dominance." That ends today, and so it was done. So, but yeah, Winston Churchill, he didn't want to let go of the empire post-war. Let's put him on a ship. Okay, so I'm way behind here. Thank you. I learned from my father, who studied in Oxford Uni. He was a Shakespearean fan. They were three brothers, have the same initials. All of them acquired the highest education. I'm not surprised by that. That is quite impressive. Thank you for sharing that. Find most arrogant fools to be hidden deep insecurities. Yes, get too close and you can prick them with a pin. Some go running off. Okay, let me get this guy off the screen. I cannot believe I'm sitting here talking about David Starkey. But I have mentioned him before in one of my edited videos, which is why I still have some slides of him that I happen to have in my vast archive of information. Okay, I mean, it's not exactly the Library of Alexandria, but I do hang on to certain bits and pieces of information. For over 1,000 years of black people labor building British and the entire European economy and infrastructure. Black Queen, that is true. That is so true. And you can never really have one without the other. Um, and even before the transatlantic slave trade, there was, always some type of slavery in Europe, and of course in the Middle East, and of course that lifestyle was imported to the Americas, someplace where it never existed before, and least of all, not at that scale. I mean, I'm sure that there were, with the tribes and civilizations in the Americas, there was some of that, but the idea of importing someone from one continent to the other, that did not exist. Okay, so I think we should move on. Okay, one more. Let me see. Tell me to call him restaurant or drink water from a normal. Yeah, yeah, it's so weird when you see those signs in the photographs where they would have like the whites only fountain and such. And oh, I could tell you some stories about that I've learned over the years, but I can't stray into that right now, but maybe someday down the line I will. Okay. Hate Americans and America. I have a big problem with the things they spew at America. Well, gentle kisses. One of my big problems with, and I don't blame people. I mean, I've spent a lot of time over there, so getting to know people, I didn't feel that. But this guy and his newspaper and the other newspapers like the Sun and the Express and such, they are creating such a volatile, um, I guess, mentality with people about Americans. They Every day the Daily Mail makes it seem like everything in America is going backwards, and it's insulting. Every day that they insult the president of the United States, I'm furious about that. Um, Especially considering when you have Bojo the Clown and so many problems over there, but every day the United States is highlighted as being too woke and the Hollywood and such, and that's very, very insulting to me. So I have a big problem with the publications, but I met some incredibly kind, generous, and polite people in the UK. I received top drawer customer service. I can only say one time when my skin tone may have been a problem, and that was because I made my way to the first class carriage of a train, and the very polite young man asked me to see my ticket, you know, and I can only think that he was surprised that I was making my way to the first class carriage of the train. It just seemed very that way because I tried to figure out, did he ask anybody else? Is he going to ask anyone else? Or was I singled out? But other than that, I had an awesome time in the United Kingdom. So I will never not say it like that because that's the way it was. I had a great time. Thank you for the new membership. Carol Lunn became a YouTube member. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so things are dragging a bit here. I need to move a little forward, although this conversation is very interesting to me. Let me see. I think they still have. Is that the bourgeoisie? These bourgeoisies. I told you I could speak French. Um, Mademoiselle, uh, these bourgeoisies think they still think they. I'm not even going to try my French accent. Change is not their forte. Well, we have Benedict Arnold, who betrayed George Washington during the Revolutionary War and helped a Brit friend of his wife. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So let me get rid of this. Oh, you all just want to have this out today. Okay. We'll talk about it some more. Thank you, Connie. I appreciate that. It's the bourgeoisie. Okay. Okay. I see British tabloids are trying to spin that Zelensky has singled out Willie Leaks and Doolittle for speaking out about the Ukrainian crisis. Jesus. Uh, well, I let me see if I still have that. There was an occasion when Willie Leaks and Duchess Doolittle met with Zelensky, and this is the photo of them sitting there very attentively and adoringly, if not annoyed, bored, and ready to get out of there, which is what I see. This is them spending some time with the president and first lady of Ukraine. And as you can see, William with his usual sourpuss face, and Kate trying to understand what the adults are saying. Anyway, trying to hold her posture as usual. And she has her hands clamped really tight because if not, you know what happens if she lets go of those hands. If she lets go of those hands, I'm telling you, it is going to be the ultimate photo op. And so, because of this photo, because of that meeting, they are trying to spin the idea that somehow these two people have in some way been helpful to the people of Ukraine, even though they were some of the last royals in all of Europe to finally throw their support behind the Ukrainian people. But that's not what we're supposed to see. We're supposed to get this idea that somehow one of the most critical thinkers of our time, the Duchess of Cambridge, and one of the most thoughtful people ever to have darkened anybody's doorstep or rose garden, William the Terrible, that they have somehow managed to turn the events in favor of the Ukrainians because of their unbridled support in this conflict that is taking place right now. That is the spin that we're supposed to get from the tabloid press. Of course, I'm not buying it. You're not buying it. I don't think most people in the world, if they got good sense, would buy this, nonsense. But that's what we're led to believe. So, there you have it. I said it. and I'm not buying it. So yeah, they're going to use as much propaganda and spin as possible to try to make them look good, and it's going to take a lot. Trust me when I say it, it's going to take a lot. But Kate is doing a good job. I mean, she's keeping those hands clamped together very tightly, and so I'm proud of her because if for any reason um, she lets go, it is going to be a smorgasbord of jazz hands all over the place, flailing and swinging and making gestures and pointing out things. I was stalling to get that photo set up, right? But yeah, she is very poised. See there? Oh, not that one. Let me find it. There she is. She's very poised. Her mouth is just a little bit askew, and her hands are clamped. See how tight her hands are? Her fingers are red because of how tight those hands are, because she doesn't want them, you know, flailing about all over the place. Okay. Looks like, do we have another new member? We have another, Danette Holmes has become a member. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, and welcome to Royal Sussex. Yes, thank you. I'm so happy about that. Okay, so anyway, you guys, again, I'm very proud of the Duchess of Cambridge that she was able to get through this event without jazz handing. But which, by the way, Kate is working on a single. Now, you guys, let's be fair to the Duchess of Cambridge. She did delight us with her rendition of The Phantom of Westminster Abbey. Do you guys remember that? When she was able to sit there patiently, hands clasped tightly, so not to go flailing, because she had some work to do and she didn't want to give it away. So while she was sitting there, she was waiting for the cue or the pretender cue that they were looking for someone to accompany that homeless man who played the guitar and sang at the Westminster Abbey. Do you guys remember that? So so this was at the Royal Carol, which was that Christmas event. So Kate, what we were supposed to think is that she got up and went over and sat at the piano. But it was actually days later that Kate actually went and sat at the piano when there was nobody else in church, when there was another piano away, off camera to play for her. And she played the same three notes over and over again. So, um, yeah, so she's been very good lately. She's been on her best behavior. And I think that everyone should give credit where credit is due. She has gone to Denmark and she said something about some initiative. She chopped wood. She is like an all terrain vehicle. She's all over the place. There is no terrain that she cannot transgress. So, okay, I'm just trying to be fair to her. That's it. No hidden agenda. No, seriously, there's no hidden agenda. I have been a little unfair to her. I want to make an amends for that now. Um so anyway, the single that Kate is working on is called I Am Jazz Hands See Me Roar. They are too big to ignore. Yes, I have jazz. And if I had to, I could do anything. I am strong. I am invincible. I am jazz hands. Oh, Lord. I am jazz hands. Hear me roar. Oh, my face is getting hot. Let me stop. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, jazz hands. Whew. And if she had to, she could do anything. She can slide. She can ride a bicycle. She is jazz hands. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, that's enough about her. I got that off my chest. Oh boy. Anyway, let's see. I was here. Okay, I got to go back there. Okay, so you guys, on a more serious note, as you can see, it's not one person going to call out Meghan Markle for that obvious, I don't even want to say that word on TV, making reference to Meghan Markle's tan. The Duchess of Sussex appeared very tan. Now, I don't want to get into the whole colorism thing, but I myself, being of the complexion I am, have been known to tan. As a matter of fact, the image that you see here, this was me leaving. Um, I want to say I anyway. I was in Southern Europe, and then I made my way back north. And I want to say here that I was even either on my way to or from Edinburgh. But while in Southern Europe, I managed to gather a little bit of a tan. And so this is me tan. I tan. And if I can tan, I'm sure the Duchess of Sussex also tans. And so this person that Christopher Bosey has pointed out here or highlighted with his tweet, um, Tandis91. Okay, no, I see it says Tasha Candace at Tasha Candace. Anyway, as we know, that may or may not be a person of color, but there are some women who get involved in the colorism, especially when someone like the Duchess of Sussex, they've used it against Beyonce, Alicia Keys. I mean, it's one of those things where people create this whole thing about this person is only this because of that. And the Duchess of Sussex, no matter how hard she's worked for equality for at just about everyone, no matter how generous that she's been, when she appears at the and I kind of saw this coming, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to spoil the mood. But some criticisms, and believe me, this is a story that the tabloids wish they could tell. Okay? This is something that the tabloids would love to tell. Don't be surprised if this tweet doesn't appear as a talking point or used to make a point in one of the tabloid stories, because whatever it is they won't say or can't say, they'll try to find some tweet to accompany the story so that people who believe in the tabloids will have yet another negative trigger about the Duchess of Sussex as being pretentious or trying to be other or something she's not. That is the narrative that they want to perpetuate. It's rude, ignorant. Like most African Americans, there are people within my immediate family of every shade that you could imagine. And of course, what a lot of people don't realize that as an African American, you may be one shade at birth, another shade in 10 months. And by the time, you're out of high school, then that's who you are. And a lot of people just, outside of the community don't understand that. So I tan, she tans, a lot of us tan. And so this person who has decided to try to mock the Duchess of Sussex is really displaying ignorance, is just a very bitter individual. And so, of course, the squatties on Twitter, they never let you down. And so the image of the African woman with the afro that you see there, the sun does not ask permission to shine, and neither do I. So someone had that on the Twitter earlier. Thank you so much if you're watching right now. And I thought it was so appropriate. I said, okay, I'm going to share that because, that speaks volumes for who we are and where we are right now. So we're all born with the cards that we're dealt, and that's just a fact. And so tweets like this, they can be very divisive, and they're made to inflict negativity or pain or whatever to whoever reads it, and that's just the way it is. So I thought I'd share that with you. Um, and this is just one. There are others out there, but these are just haters who want to come after the Duchess of Sussex. I never get into the colorism thing, and for those who actually do get involved with that, I mean, it's heartbreaking that in Brazil, I was looking at the Dr. Gates when he did a thing about black people in other places. One of the places was Brazil, and in Brazil, they still use all of those different ways to describe a person's skin tone in reference to your place in society. And I'm not going to go through the names, but you know the common ones. And so when they had a Black Pride movement recently, in recent years, because there's been a Black Pride movement in Brazil, overnight, the population of people of African descent began to expand because people's pride was expanding. They began to see themselves as Africans in South America. In other words, black people. Now, here in the United States, because of the one drop rule, colorism is very different here than it is maybe in the UK, maybe in France, maybe even in, of course, is very different from the way it is in Brazil or South America. And of course, when you think about colorism, where, places like, let me think, the Dominican Republic, you know, they don't even see themselves as being of African descent. There are some who say, "Oh yes, I'm from Africa," or that's part of my makeup. So it's one of those things that is so incredibly complicated, and it should be no surprise to anyone that the Duchess of Sussex is pulled into this from time to time, especially as her profile grows with Americans that may not have known who she was some years ago, myself included. Then, of course, one of the ways that you know that you're a big deal is when people begin to target you. And with that, I'll look at some comments. This person was blackfishing. This person is not a black person. Posting that tweet, Christopher Bosey is on top of this, which is exactly what I suspected. Black Queen says Brazilians are descendants of German Nazis. Italian, Mussolini, Spain, etc. South America is just racehorses against black people. Absolutely, Black Queen. If you haven't seen that, Dr. Lewis Henry Gates, he goes to Cuba, he goes to Brazil, he goes to India, and quite a few other places where black people live to see how black people have fit into society. It's alarming, it's heartbreaking, and like, sometimes people will be black in Cuba, and when they get to the United States, oh, I ain't black. I ain't black. When the police pull you over, you black. Trust me, you're gonna be black. Let me see. Oh boy, you guys are on fire with these comments. I will not try to keep up with them because they're going fast. But let me see. I had an aunt, same color as Meghan. I will always go to her apartment to help her out because, let me help her out. People used to think I was the help, but she would proudly say that is my niece during the early 80s. Well, cheers, cheers, here, here. I love that story. Yeah, that happens a lot. I want to. Oh, if you remember, I don't want to say her name because Megan's relative, the one, which one I'm talking about, used to tell the neighbors that Doria was the housekeeper. Yeah. Megan's own sibling used to tell people that Doria was the housekeeper. She had the nerves to say that everything, the queen of everything is the housekeeper, just to be as disrespectful and as ignorant as possible. So, yeah, I've been through it. Um, I've been through it. I never, sometimes I almost forget how ignorant people can be until it happens. Don't know what all this fuss is about. Bone solo trip to Denmark that was the tabloid media oozing about. Apparently, the queen was not amused with her log chopping and downsliding. Um, but if she had to, okay, I'll just leave it there. She is strong. She is Jazz Hannibal. She is the Duchess of Cambridge. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. We're having a serious conversation, but I couldn't help myself. Wait, I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, we're having a serious conversation, and okay, I'm back. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Okay, people of color tan faster than white simply because they have more melanin. Megan is in sunny California. Of course, she will tan. Absolutely, absolutely. And um, yeah, is it? I've worked outdoors before. Okay, I've worked outdoors before, and I had a job where in the summertime, everybody at work was, I guess, in the start of summer, in the spring, everybody was pale, and then by the end of summer, we had all got our tans, and then because this was a seasonal job, when we would come back the next year, it was like you were looking at a ghost because you forgot how, you know light that person was. And mind you, there were many people that were of African American descent that worked there, me being one of them. That was the cycle that I went through every year. I would have the farmer arm where, my chest was one color, my arm was another color. And yeah, so it's so foolish that somebody would do that. But it was just That's just pure hate. That's what it is. Is hate, is nastiness for the sake of it. Anyway, let me see. The skin color, I often feel uncomfortable on this channel because I'm white. Well, Jennifer Altman, I hope that at no point do I ever make you or anybody else feel uncomfortable. So, this is all inclusive here on Royal Sussex. And, I applaud you for being here because it gives you a chance. Or maybe I'm just assuming maybe you have been exposed to this kind of information or these sentiments before, maybe not, but you get a chance to hear our story, you know, raw and uncensored as possible. You get a chance to hear our story from our perspective. And I applaud you for being here because, um, at no point do we ever want this to be topics that are uncomfortable to anybody who um, are like fans of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex or supporters of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So thank you for being here. And we all just what I hope is that everybody can share their thoughts with as much respect as possible. And in particular, I try to remind everybody that it's not the citizens or the subjects of the UK that we have it in for, but it's the institution that have been very oppressive with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and we will point out the history whenever we feel is necessary or whether we find it is germane to the conversation. So we will point these things out, and we're going to have some fun along the way. Um, so sometimes I may burst into a little this or a little that because it's just my nature. But yeah, so I like this eclectic mixture of people that we have on here, and oh my goodness, the comments are coming fast and furious. Now I've never slowed down the comments before, but feel free to comment. I'm sure that like as usual, everybody's like reading along and everything, and I try to pick out stuff that you know that is topical and that I'm interested in as well. We all have let me see. We are all the leaves and branches of one tree. Sonia Johnson, that is so beautiful. We're happy you're here. I'm sending lots of love to you. Sonia, that is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for that. I wish that could be the last thought of the day. But yeah, when if you're here when I'm closing, please throw that back in there again so that we can close with that because I think it is lovely. As a matter of fact, I know what I'm going to do. I think I got this. Thank you so much, Sonia. Okay. All right, got it. All right, so the royals are afraid of the sun. That's why they always wear those stupid hats to protect them from the sun. Maggie, Maggie, I am going to dispel what you have said. I take exception to that, Maggie, and I'm going to show you why. Does this woman look like she's a. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Never mind. Never mind. I understand, Maggie. Never mind. I'm sorry. I should have never second. I should have never second guessed you, Maggie. That is so foolish of me. I have been found wanting in my character. As a matter of fact, how do I put this? I was foolish and I have been paid out for my folly. You are absolutely right. I stand corrected. I'm going to move on. So, you know, um, okay. All right. I hear you. All right. Oh boy. Okay, so Lucy Wynn, are you okay? Do we need to send the fire department to help you? Are you on the floor? Are you in the chair? Because I can see you're having a good time. All right. I'm doing a well-being check. Are you okay, Mary H? Uh-huh. You're okay, Church Nelly? Good. Okay. What about, let's see. They found out quick once my husband stepped up. Okay. And Anastasia, you missed Jennifer's comment. She said sometimes she felt uncomfortable on the channel as she is white. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, again, I hope in no way I've ever made anybody feel uncomfortable. But anyway, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Obviously, this is something that needed to be discussed. Anna Espinoza, as a Hispanic woman, I have faced race horses. Oh, I can't say that word. While growing up at work, and I have text about my story of my life. Well, Anna Espinoza, I have to tell you that I'm like someone who I'm curious about every culture, and I feel like it's been a blessing to me that I can look to people in other cultures that I have met along the road of life, and I have learned their stories. I may have even traveled along the same roads and such. And I always feel like a kinship with anyone of the Spanish speaking world, right? And it's just something that's been a part of my neighborhood, right? It's so many people that I know that are African American, especially the kids. The kids have it really good because growing up nowadays, you may find yourself in a household with someone from another country. Like there's a kid that has a video on YouTube where he walks around neighborhoods with a camera in New York and he'll speak Yiddish, and the people are like amazed that he knows Yiddish. But it's because of the way these kids grow up nowadays. So things are getting better, not worse. Even though they try to tell us that things are getting worse, they're actually getting better because these kids, they are like sponges and they are absorbing cultures that we may have identified with in some way growing up, but they actually can speak the language, they know the culture, they enjoy the food more so than most of us older people have growing up. So I'm very optimistic about the direction that relations amongst different cultures are going these days. So anyway, thanks for sharing that with us. That is so true. Both my parents are biracial, so I am very light skinned with green eyes and red hair. I was called many different names throughout my life. Oh, Diana Ware. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Little Rock says in the biblical history, it was known as 10 people were completely healed of the leprosy disease. Only one showed up to give thanks. The Duchess is apt justice support for the marginalized, not pettiness. Little Rock, I'm telling you, and when I am ready to write my life story, I need you to be my ghostwriter. I don't want people to know that I'm as limited as I am. So if you would help me tell my story, I'd appreciate that. Okay. But not too much, Little Rock, because I don't want people to know that it wasn't me who told the story. Jennifer, we don't hate each other on this channel. We know that there are other race horses. I don't want to lose my monetization. They get weird about that on YouTube. There are other racehorses in the world, and we love to hear about their culture, but we also respect their culture. Absolutely, Sharon Davis. One of the reasons why I travel is because I am so curious about the way other people live. Um, And actually, I've been to Brazil before. I've been to Brazil, and I tell you what, there's a lot of people of color there in Brazil, and I felt, aside from the language barrier, I definitely felt at home. I saw people that looked just like people I have grown up with, or people in my neighborhood, etc. So it wasn't too much of a culture shock to be there, aside from everything being in Portuguese. Let me see. Okay. I'm Hispanic and married to the same white guy for 48 years. Congratulations. Did you say for 48 years? He's not 48 years old. You've been married for 48 years. We have two beautiful biracial daughters. That's why I fully support uh, Duchess Meghan. Oh, that is so beautiful. Congratulations. 48 years? Let me read that again. Married to the same white guy for 48 years? Wow. 48 years. That is incredible. That is so impressive. Congratulations. Wow. 48 years. That is very impressive. Okay. One thing about us as black people, we embrace all because we know what it's like to not be embraced. Absolutely, Kate Herrera. To have been marginalized for a lifetime and then to reject others based on the same stereotypes or suspicions would be a lesson of futility, because it would only demonstrate that we have learned nothing about life. So I think that is very important. So I like, for instance, when it comes to food, I pretty much eat anything that doesn't eat me first. And food is one of the best ways to break the barrier or break the cultural barrier, is through food. And of course, most importantly, travel. If you travel a mile, you'll learn more traveling. Actually, what is that they say? You'll learn more walking a block than you would traveling or driving a mile or something like that. But yeah, it's very important. And one of my favorite things is to see how black people live in other countries. I always want to see how black people live. I have to tell you a funny story about, well, it's maybe not that funny, but when I was in Prague. Oh, by the way, did you guys know I've been to Europe before? Did I ever mention the fact that I've been to Europe? Okay, maybe on occasion. But anyway, that's a little running joke if you've never heard us before on this channel. But I've been to Europe for 1,000 years. But anyway, I have been to Europe before, and I went to Prague. And when I was in Prague, that's the reaction I was looking for. You guys are a little slow off the block, but there we go. Yes, you all want to hear about my trip to Europe, don't you? I know. So I was in Prague, and I walked past this gift shop, and it was like full of like souvenirs for Kafta and all that kind of stuff. And so imagine me walking up the street, do 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 do. And as I'm walking, I froze when I walked past this big plate glass window, because I have to tell you, when you're in the Czech Republic, you don't see too many Baptists, which is my code for American black people, but you don't see too many Baptists. So as I'm walking, I stopped and I turned my head slowly, like a horror movie. I turned my head ever so slowly, and I looked in the window and I saw this woman who was obviously of African descent. And so I looked at her, she looked at me, and we both had the biggest smiles on our faces. And she just kind of dropped her head, because even though I had never seen this woman before, she knew exactly why I stopped. I mean, I literally pivoted and turned around and went in the store. And I said, what you doing here? And she just burst out with this big laugh. Beautiful woman. She had the biggest smile on her face. She had this big laugh that she let out. Um, and by the time she gained her composure from laughing, she said, "Well, my husband and I came here from Senegal as students back in the 1980s. Well, mind you, this was the early 2000s, and yeah, it was just that moment between an American of African descent and this woman who has made Prague her home of African descent. And we just glanced at each other and smiled because she knew my obvious question was, "What are you doing here?" And so, we had a nice conversation. I bought a lot of Kafka souvenirs to bring back and everything. But that just reminds me that wherever I go, whatever I do, when I encounter people of color, um, is one thing, but when I encounter someone of African descent, there's that very unspoken connection that I felt. So um, that is a very true story, and that happened. I want to say back in 2009, but yeah, I was totally surprised because at that point I didn't see many black people in Prague at that time. So um, and as a matter of fact, I haven't told this story in ages. Okay, Baron, you should really be a professional therapist. This is a daily therapy. Thank you, Baron. Cynthia Ashton, thank you so much for that. Thank you, and thank you for being here. Let's see. Black Queen says, "It's like me entering yoga class, and the only other black woman in class kind of greets me with her eyes with a nonverbal sigh of relief." Black Queen, I tell you, um, when I traveled, the only time I felt nervous was when I was in Eastern Europe. That was the only time I felt nervous because um, it's not that I was afraid to go, but I knew that I would start running out of black people when I got there. So, um, to show you how I felt when I went to, did I tell you guys I've been to Budapest? Have I mentioned that I've been to Budapest? That was when I went to Europe. Anyway, so I went to Budapest and it was a long train trip. I'm trying to remember if that was an overnight trip. But when I got there, I was a little bit disorientated and I was really tired. And I have to tell you the nightmare that happened at the rail station sometime, but not today. But so anyway, um, I get off the train and I'm just like, the usual pompous American. I don't see anything. Oh, there's a McDonald's. Oh, so I saw McDonald's, which of course some people have nicknamed the American Embassy. So I go to the embassy, I look at my map, because there were no smartphones back then. Smartphones were still kind of new and I didn't have a smartphone. This is 2009. So when I finally had some coffee and everything, refreshments, I get up from the table and I start walking out trying to find the hostel. And so I was like, you know what? I can't do this myself. And I asked this guy, I was like, "Hi, can you help me? I'm trying to find my hostel." And he said, "Oh," and he was very nice too. And he pointed this way. He said, "Go that way, do this, do that." Sure. And then I said, "Can I ask you another question? Where's the black people?" And seriously, I asked him, I said, "Where's the black people?" He said, "Oh, we have." I said, "Where?" I said, "I haven't seen any." He said, "Trust me, we have." That's how he said it. And so after I checked into the hostel and everything, there were people there from all over the world. And I wasn't like uncomfortable because, I'm used to being the only black people in only black person in certain situations. And so when I walked to the grocery store, finally there was a cell phone shop, black, check. There's a beauty supply, check. and there was a barbershop. Check. I'm like, oh, thank God, black people. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I finally saw some black people. But um that was my experience. Everybody was very nice, but I have to warn you guys, if you ever go to Eastern Europe, the further east you go, I call it the Eastern European glare. Being from the United States and having family from the South, I'm used to speaking to everybody. We speak. And if you don't speak, it's considered rude. And if you're in the southern states, when you pass a stranger on the street, you got to be prepared to talk about the weather. You have to talk about body aches. You have to talk about fishing or something like that. You might not want to talk about politics or religion, but you have to be prepared for small talk. Otherwise, people are going to look at you with a bit of suspicion, right? So, um, walking through Eastern Europe, I have to tell you, there's this very weird thing where people will look in your mouth, in your nose, in your cornea, and they won't say a word. And it's not because of your skin tone, it's because they don't do that with each other. Now, imagine me being an overstuffed, over caffeinated, chubby baby boomer who happens to be of African descent from the United States traveling through Eastern Europe, and nobody was talking to me. I was like, huh, that's strange. So anyway, I hope I'm not boring y'all with my stories of travel. I see there's 747 people, which is great because the 747 is my favorite aircraft. I love 747. That's like a lucky number for me. But yeah, so that's what happens. So if you ever find yourself in Eastern Europe, be prepared to be ignored, but yet people are going to look all in your mouth at the same time. It was a very, very strange feeling for an African American so far from home alone. Okay. So with that, there's this I want to share. Clearly not happy, Harry fish out of water in U.S. appearance as Meghan in her element. This is from the Dastardly Express. Prince Harry was clearly not happy during his appearance on stage over the weekend while his wife Meghan Markle appeared in her element, according to body language experts. Okay? According to the body language experts, Harry was so uncomfortable, so anxious and hand wringing, and oh, he just didn't know how to. Oh, poor Harry, and if that woman hadn't taken him away, and give me a break. Harry is living his best life because Harry is not uncomfortable around people, any people. Like, look at this photo, for instance. I mentioned yesterday, I bet you $1,000,000 that when Anthony Anderson's mother greeted Harry, I bet you that she said to him, "What? Hi, baby. How you doing, baby?" I just know that she gravitated toward him the way she would have spoken to her own children because we have all watched Harry grow up. And while I probably won't walk up to him and say, "Hi, baby," I'm sure that an African American woman of a certain age would likely do that because that's just how we roll. So, you know, they're jealous. They are so jealous of the fact that Harry has the ease in which he can I mean, look at this. Um look at how happy Harry is. Look at that. Come on. Seriously? Seriously. Okay, I went too far. But yeah, those were some slides from yesterday. Come on, y'all. Harry is living his best life. You need to believe that he's unhappy and uncomfortable and out of sorts, but the truth is, Harry is at home. Harry is a property owner. Harry wants the best for his children. And when you want the best for your children, you do what you have to do. That is a grown, you know what man who has done what millions of people do every year. He uprooted from his childhood home and moved to another country. Stuff like that happens all the time. It is not unusual. It is not uncomfortable for somebody who is sure of themselves. None of that is the case. He's home now. So nice try, Express, but he's living his best life. Huh? Huh? He's home. And of course, the queen of everything makes up part of his family. I couldn't hope for anything better for him at this point. So, anyway, that is what they tried to say. Is not going to sell any place but to people who need to hate. And unfortunately, there are plenty of those running about these days. Let me okay, this is what I was looking for, I think. Now, would you look at that? Take a look at that. Hi, baby. Look at how her arm is gripped around Harry's waist. That is warmth. That is family. What they're trying to say is that Harry is surrounded by people of color, therefore, he must be incredibly uncomfortable. Oh, and it is like a very subversive way to be as much of a racehorse as possible. But that type of racehorses is just not going to fly. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, so this is from yesterday. Hi, baby. I just can't stop saying it. Hi, baby. Hey. Look, wait a minute. Where is it? Okay, I lost it. Oh, yeah, I know where it is. I mean, come on. I have to say it again. Hi, baby. Yeah. Well, Anthony, this is his 10th year hosting. I'm so proud of him. Oh, come on now, y'all. Anyway, let me stop. So, where was I? Okay, so we have this. Um, those are the shoes. There's yet another sketch of the beautiful gown that was on the Twitter today. And Aquazara, is that the name? Aquazura shoe. Anyway, that's the name of the shoe, just in case you were wondering, because I haven't mentioned it before. But there you have it. That is the shoe. And then here you have, why did I bring this up? Oh, I know why. I'm going to have to enlarge it so I can see it. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry made their first award show appearance of the year. Oh, it's been almost 2 hours. I got to get out of here, you guys. The first appearance of the year at the NAACP Image Award. Harry wore a classic black Oswald Boateng suit, while Meghan took the sartorial spotlight in a blue two-tone Christopher John Rogers dress with high leg slit. Both chose to wear black designers. Okay? So they're both wearing black designers on that occasion. Both of them for the NAACP Awards. And by showcasing designers of African American descent, as of course the Sussex or the Duchess of Sussex has showcased many fashion choices that have led to record sales for companies that are lucky enough for the Duchess of Sussex to wear their clothing. So bravo to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex for choosing designers of African descent. And let's see, next slide. That was it, you guys. I think I am done. Yes, I'm done. Oh, wait a minute. okay, there was this. I was talking about this while you guys were waiting for me to figure out I wasn't on yet. But Charlene White gave an impassioned speech today about the treatment of people of African descent in Ukraine. The Africans in Ukraine have been treated deplorably. They have been mistreated. She even mentioned the term the back of the bus, literally and figuratively. So, even though I would never deliberately send you guys to watch Loose Women, because sometimes I think that even the women of African descent on the show too much restraint and not enough defense of the Sussexes, this one is definitely worth seeing. Um, so if you get a chance to watch that, please do. It's on Twitter. So if you scroll through Twitter, the Sussex Squad universe on Twitter, you are sure to find this. Okay. And then next slide. Women need a seat at the table. They don't need an invitation to be seated there. And in case there is not available, in case it is not available, then they need to create their own table. Now, this quote, I know this is the Duchess of Sussex. I told you sometimes you have to be a little careful. We need a global understanding that we cannot affect a change without women's political participation. Duchess of Sussex. I don't know who put this on Twitter. It wasn't me. I'm not even sure that HRH I'm a Walking did it, but she did share it. But I have to tell you, I literally spit up water that I was sipping when I saw this. It completely caught me off guard. I'm surprised I didn't think of it first, but that is where I found it. And some of y'all might say, and you should have left it there, but I did not. I decided to share it with you because I'm what? Petty. So there you have it. Obviously, the Duchess of Cambridge was cosplaying Granny Clampett or whatever, Moses. But anyway, just thought I would share that with you guys. I thought it was a hoot. It was all in fun. Nobody dislikes or, we it's hard for me to get. Okay, let me skip to that. And this is the type of greeting that I hope that the Cambridges will receive when they arrive in Jamaica, Mon. Yes, knock, knock. Who's there? Jamaica. Jamaica who? Jamaican a mistake, William and Kate. If I were you, I would not go. I know that's the worst knock, knock joke. But Jamaican a mistake, Mon. Jamaican a mistake. Okay. And then there's this. Just when I thought I had seen every unflattering, unappealing, gross image of that troll doll, that there always seems to be another. So somebody decided to share that today. As I was scanning through the Twitter. Meghan, she's a Hollywood actress, and Harry appeared to be out of his element, but he won't say so because whatever happens, it's always what Meghan wants, and I'm not sure he's allowed to ever disagree. So yeah, I found that troll in a stack of images, and I thought I'd share that with you. And then there's this. I believe this is my last. Nope, it's almost my last slide. You guys, I'm trying to get you out of here because Duchess of Success starts like now. So I'm gonna get you guys out of here, but I just wanted to share this with you. Nope. Oh, come on. Where are you, Serena? Serena. Anyway, I lost the story. But anyway, Serena Williams has raised $111 million OPM. And in case you don't understand that term, OPM, that means other people's money. As you know, she has been trying to become a venture capitalist and she wants to encourage investments with people who otherwise would not have access to the financial world. And so rather than risking all of her own money, she has finally seen the light and she's going to OPM. So, congratulations to Serena Williams for raising $111 million OPM. Almost done, you guys. I'm going to get you out of here. Right here, you can see that they have been trolling the Duchess of Sussex. And when I say they, you know exactly who I mean. Um, the paper that belongs to Lord Nappyhead has been trolling the Duchess because they don't like to see a woman of color excel and succeed, and even worse than that, that she might actually have the trappings and gifts bestowed upon her that comes with the fact that she had worked very hard and she has some expensive things. Okay. All right. So there's that. And okay, so I'm done, you guys. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. You guys, if you need to go, go on, but we are going to ginger adventure ourselves out of here. Much love to Doria and to Diana. Because of our two queens, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex is possible, the Queen of Hearts and the Queen of Everything. Okay, so last comment of the day, and that comment comes from, let me see, I actually did a screenshot so that I would have it. Beautiful comment from Sonia Johnson. She says, we are all the leaves and branches of one tree. We're happy you're here. I'm sending lots of love to you. And that was her response to Jennifer, who wanted to make sure that, everybody understood that she was here and that she was partaking in the Sussex Squad community. We thank you, Sonia Johnson, for those wise words. And thank you, Jennifer, for being here. Thank you all for what has become a very interesting conversation. Don't forget, Duchess of Success is on, and we are going to ginger adventure ourselves out of here. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Love you all, and I'm out of here. Okay? Ginger Avenger. Cue Ginger Avenger.